Good evening and welcome. Tonight we will be going over the history and geography of Bicol in the Philippines. You can see part of the name there. In the Philippines. Bicol is mostly situated on the island of Luzon, which is the largest island in the Philippines. You can barely see Manila, the capital city, right there. I didn't draw the border, but it pretty much is around here, and everything south here is part of Bicol. Bicol is broken up into quite a few provinces. Up here would be Camarines Norte. Over here is Camarines Sur. Then we have Albay. We have Sorsogon all down here. And then in terms of islands, we have Masbate right here, which also encompasses Ticao over here. And I assume Parias as well. I guess it's all these islands here. And we also have Catanduanes over here. And yeah, sorry, my atlas is, the center's right here. And this page has seen better days. So sorry about the big gap right there. Probably the most famous geographic feature in this part of the Philippines are the volcanoes. You can see Mount Mayon right here. This is actually the most active volcano in the Philippines, and probably, I think, like the most iconic because it is shaped like a volcano. Like if you asked a 5-year-old to draw a volcano, they would draw, pew, pew, smoke coming out. That's what it looks like, exactly that, a perfect cone. But other important volcanoes in the area include Mount Isarog, you can see up here, and Bulusan down here. The rest of the region is pretty forested, especially compared to the rest of the Philippines, which is not as forested, not as it used to be at least. But also lots of farmland in the plains area. All that volcanic soil, really good for farmland. And major cities, we have the capital of the region, Legazpi, right here. Other important cities would be Sorsogon and Naga. There's a bunch. There's a bunch of important, busy towns over here, as you can see. But just diving into history, and this is going to be an overview because I could go much deeper, especially after events of the 1890s. But I'm just going to give you a glossed over brief version just so the video isn't 2 hours long. And mostly because that history after the 1890s is not terribly pretty, and we want to keep it relaxing and YouTube friendly. So let's get into the brief overview of the history here. So this area has been inhabited for a very long time, even in like the history of the world, not even so much the history of the Philippines. These islands down here, Masbate and Ticao, have been inhabited probably like around 4000 BCE, maybe even earlier. From what we can tell with archaeological evidence, definitely by 1000 BCE, there were people thriving here, crafting and things like that, things that we can find archaeologically. But probably the best known indigenous peoples in this part of the Philippines is the Aita, who would have lived around here, still do. They're still around. They could possibly be the earliest known inhabitants of the Philippines. Many different people groups came from many of the islands and regions of Southeast Asia, gathered here, created their own identity. But that was one of the earliest to do so. The population here was and still is divided into barangays, which were like local communities. They were led by a datu, like the chieftain. And even today, I shouldn't say was, because it still is. Basically, the local governments of the Philippines are still barangays led by a datu, which is really cool. They've kept that tradition, I think. This area was also plagued by raids from the Moro, which I've actually done a whole video on. I'll link it up there in the corner to learn more about Bangsamoro, which is a very fascinating history in the Philippines, very unique to the rest of the history of the archipelago here. Very distinct history. In 1567, the first Spaniards arrived in this part of the Philippines. They were led by a conquistador named Juan de Salcedo, who was working under the better-known conquistador Miguel Lopez de Legazpi, who was the first Spaniard, besides Magellan, who had an unfortunate visit here in the Philippines. He was the first person to come and successfully conquer the Philippines. And Legazpi, you can see, is named after him. There were further explorations by the Spanish. In 1569, they landed here and explored around. And in 1573, they came down from the north, exploring the peninsula here, heading south. The people here, like in most of the Philippines, weren't too happy about these strange men coming to their shores and taking over. So the main way that the Spaniards dominated the locals here was through religion and conversion. Many missionaries came here and established churches, integrated into the communities. Slowly but surely, Spanish culture became like integral with the native culture here. That was very important for the Spanish, because this area, like I said, is very forested, and lots of hardwood grew here, which the Spanish used to build the Manila galleons, which, like, if you picture in your mind a big classic sailing ship, like maybe even like a pirate ship, that's a Manila galleon, like the huge big sails, all of that. That's a Manila galleon, like the biggest ships. Manila galleons were basically trading ships between the Philippines and Mexico, going back and forth across the Pacific, bringing that way goods from the Philippines and China and whoever else they were trading with around here over to Mexico, and then bringing back supplies from Mexico and from Spain via Mexico. In the 17th century, the Moros attacked with a vengeance, basically pirate raiding the area quite frequently. So the area was built up very defensively to try to prevent that from happening. In 1814, Mount Mayon erupted, which isn't terribly unusual. Mount Mayon erupts all the time. At least every couple of years there's some kind of eruption, but this one in particular was extremely disastrous. The entire surrounding area was destroyed. Many thousands of people lost their lives. There's still some relics around here of buildings that somewhat survived, kind of Pompeii style. Around here, it was very devastating for the people who lived here. Easily the most destructive eruption in recorded history, but like I said, it erupts a lot, and there have been lots of times where disaster has struck, but that was by far the biggest. Heading into that period, I said from the 1890s, this is when Philippines history really ramps up and becomes quite turbulent, because the Philippine Revolution broke out in 1898, when people said, that's enough, we're being suppressed, we don't want the Spaniards here controlling us anymore. There was a lot of resistance in this part of the Philippines against the Spaniards. It was a very destructive rebellion. Spain was also dealing with Cuba at the time, which was going through something very similar. And then they went to war with the United States, which was just the nail in the coffin in Spanish colonialism. And they lost horribly. And the United States were granted the Philippines in the Treaty of Paris in, 1899? I think? Yeah, 1899. During all of that, the Philippines declared their independence. So when the Americans came and said, we own these islands now, the people here weren't very happy about that at all. And that sparked the Philippine-American War, which lasted until 1902. And just like before, there were lots of resistance movements in this part of the Philippines in Bicol. Mainly, like I said, very forested, very wooded, very easy for people to hide out and launch guerrilla campaigns against the Americans. The Filipinos wouldn't fare too well after this war. The Americans would technically win, but I think at that point the Americans realized that they shouldn't be dominating these islands. They should let them kind of do their thing with American supervision, But that all came crashing down in 1942 when the Japanese invaded. I should say 1941. It was in the last few weeks of 1941. After Pearl Harbor was bombed, Japan went invasion crazy and invaded pretty much like the entirety of Southeast Asia, including the Philippines and including Bicol. And they held this area until the tail end of World War II in 1945. The Americans came and attacked the Philippines with a vengeance. Or attacked the Japanese in the Philippines with a vengeance. The most famous being, like I said, over here in Manila. But there were many battles here, Americans versus the Japanese, and like before, there was a very large resistance movement against the Japanese here. Again, perfect for guerrilla warfare. The Philippines would gain its actual independence, for real independence, not long after World War II. And the Philippines would take a bit of a nosedive politically during the regime of Ferdinand Marcos Sr., who once in 1972, when his term was almost up, declared martial law so he could stay president for as long as possible. And a dark chapter in the Philippines. In the 1980s, when it was clear that his regime was beginning to collapse, there were many protest movements. Bicol was a big place where that was very poorly phrased. Let me try that again. Bicol was a place that had quite a few protests against the Marcos regime, some of them ending very bloody, let's say. But Marcos and his wife Imelda would flee the Philippines, and you would think never to be seen again, but Ferdinand Marcos Jr. is the current president of the Philippines. I'm filming this in 2025 for anyone watching in the future. And that is pretty much all that I have for you in terms of history. The cities here are thriving, becoming much more industrialized after the end of the first Marcos reign. And tourism has really played a big part with all of the beautiful wildlife here. And yeah, it seems like, from what I can tell, many Filipinos out there can contradict me, but from what I can tell, it's just very good times here, politically, economically, culturally, so on and so forth. So we love to see that. Let me just make sure I got everything in my notes. I'm pretty sure I did. Yeah, that's pretty much all I got for you. So why don't we hop over to Google Earth? There is so much to see here. There are so many pictures, and they're all incredibly beautiful. So I have explored. I have found a couple of spots to show you, but as I was going through Google Earth, I kept finding more and more and more and more and more. And I'm like, you know what? We're going to explore live because every place has a beautiful slideshow. So I'm going to show you some of the ones I found, and then we're going to play and see what we find here. So let's hop over to Google Earth on the tablet. Here we are in Bicol. And let's start by zooming out so you can see exactly where we are in the world. Here are the beautiful Philippines. And as we zoom out, sorry, my tummy's growling. I'm hungry. As we zoom out, we can see the rest of Southeast Asia. You can see I was like, wait, which country should I say first? You can see Malaysia, Indonesia, and Brunei. They're on Borneo. The rest of Indonesia down there. We've got China up here. We've got, just for context, down there's Australia, the Pacific Ocean, so on and so forth. Vietnam's just over there. And there's Bicol. You can see the Philippine Trench here too. One of the deepest places in the ocean. I should say that the Philippines has all of those volcanoes, or Bicol at least has all those volcanoes because of the Ring of Fire, which you can see making this long trench there and down here as well. All around the Pacific Ocean, you can really see it from above. All around, making the Ring of Fire, which is just the most seismically active part of the world. Lots of earthquakes, lots of volcanic activity. Why don't we just start with the volcanoes, shall we? Dum-dum-dum. Which you can see, look at Mount Isarog. Look how prominent it is. Let's start up here. It's so green around it from all of that volcanic activity. Mount Isarog. Let's look at the beautiful pictures here. Like I said, very forested in this part of the Philippines. Lots of natural beauty. You can see the waterfall there. Clouds. There it is from above. So beautiful. So yes, lots of tourism in this part of the Philippines. Oh, cute baby. Lots of good hiking and exploring. And relaxing, because over here we can find, once it pops up, a hot spring. That's pretty fun. Look at that. Enjoying. Looks like there's soaping up in there too. Maybe to protect the skin because it's so hot. And maybe to cover up the smell a bit because hot springs are very stinky. They smell like sulfur, which smells like rotten eggs. Yeah, all soapy. How fun is that? And a little spring there. You can enjoy some naturally hot water straight from the bowels of Mother Earth. Wow. Lots of beautiful waterfalls. Let's look at this one. Which you probably have already seen. Yeah, look at that. Wow. So pretty. Wow. And of course, lots of ecotourist camps, like resorts, places to stay so you can be out in the nature, exploring and enjoying. But let's look at Mount Mayon because I have to show you the shape of it, right? Look how big and prominent that is. Mayon Volcano Natural Park. And let's see if we can see the silhouette. See, there's some buildings from the 1814 eruption. Classic volcano. Almost like Mount Fuji, right? Just needs the snow on top. That would look a bit like Mount Fuji. Mayon skyline. Yeah, it's like a perfect volcano. We love to see it. Oh, look at, you can see a little bit. Smoky day up there. Of course, lots of beautiful nature as well around this volcano. Oh, they're going on some rides there. Beautiful tropical trees. Yeah, look at perfect. Almost like a pyramid. Pretty. Let's see if we can find anything. I almost thought that said troll farm. I was like, what? The planetarium. Let's look at that. Mayon Planetarium. All right. I love planetariums. Looks like we're near Tabaco there. I didn't really talk about Tabaco, but that's okay. We love Tabaco. Oh, lots of natural. Oh my gosh, Goku's here as well. Going Super Saiyan. And the minions are here. And Spider-Man. My goodness. And One Punch Man. There's a lot happening at the planetarium. That's funny. Let's look at the actual hiking area. Why not? See some more natural. How pretty. It is a beautiful silhouette skyline. I love Black Lava Zipline Adventure. I wouldn't. There's another relic. Whoa. That's a neat picture. I like that one. Oh, that's good too. How fascinating. Let's look at Legazpi City. I can't remember if I saw any good slideshows. Here's a ruin. Oh, I think it's the one that we've seen. The remains of a church was destroyed in the eruption. But yeah, I don't remember really. I remember looking through the cities and not finding anything except Google Earth still really wants to show me halls and meeting places. Let's see a giant statue of Nuestra Señora de Salvación. That sounds fun. Oh, wow, that's beautiful. There's the volcano. Looks like it's in a roundabout. Oh, you see all the rice fields here. That's pretty. It looks like it's in the middle of a roundabout, and it lights up. Wow. That's pretty neat. Yeah, I don't remember seeing anything in the actual cities here that I was like, oh, I gotta show the audience. I don't remember, but you can see big bustling city there. Of course, it kind of pales to like Manila, Quezon City, all of that, but it's still quite bustling. It is the largest city in Bicol. Let's head down here. Let's find us another volcano. There's Bulusan. Looks like there's lots of waterfalls and hot springs around here too. We love to see it. We get some kayaks or canoes. Let me see. What are they? I guess they're canoes. Because kayak is one person, right? Fun. Beautiful nature. Precarious bridges. Natural park. How fun. What a beautiful hike. Yeah, it's a hot and cold spring. That's fun. You can pick which one you prefer, I suppose, or alternate. Get warm and then cool off. Look how pretty. Wow, wow, wow. Oh, fun. Oh, enjoying the wonderful waterfall here. They're having a great time. Yeah, isn't this place so lovely? And look how green it all is. So you can see the difference between farmland and forest. And usually in the Philippines, it's the other way around. It's usually farmland and then bits of forest. Not so here. Let's look at a beach. Beach and sanctuary. I assume for turtles, maybe? Oh, fun. Little pup enjoying the beach. Oh, how gorgeous. Oh, this is my kind of beach. Oh, tropical and secluded with jewel tone waters. Oh, so crystal clear. I bet it feels amazing. Because, my big thing, if you're new here, my big thing is swimming. Once I'm in the water, you can't get me out. Like any water, including like the shower. Look at the puppies. Swimming pools, hot tubs, and beaches. Once I'm in the water, I am like a mermaid. I am a fish. You can't get me out. I'll live there forever. I love water. What's this? Bon Aunt overlooking. Oh, there's no pictures. That's so sad. The Wishy Cove. How pretty. The nature here is just so spectacular. Some neat, looks like volcanic rocks there. Oh, nice. How pretty little cavey areas there. Wow. Stacking little rocks there. Just that natural instinct to stack. Some seagrass there. Polyps of some kind. Alright, let's look at the islands over here. So I didn't really play around these islands. I looked around. Didn't find too much. What's this? No pictures. Some hills. Wow, how pretty. Oh, little rolling hills. Oh, how gorgeous. Too bad there's not too many pictures. Oh, it's pretty there. Let's see. There's the city. Looks like it's more over here. This place is hopping. Look at this. See the airport there? Mangrovetum. Let's go see the mangroves. Mangrovetum, city of Masbate. Let's see the mangrove trees that grow along the coast, especially around very salty, almost brackish water. So this is perfect. Mangrovetum. Yeah, look at that soupy water. Perfect for mangroves, perfect for wildlife living in the waters there, all protected by tree roots and water, and also helps prevent natural disasters like tsunamis and typhoons from creating water swells. The trees stop the water from flooding cities. Look at all the fairy roots here. We're going all over the place. Let's look. What was that? What is this? Yeah, what is this? Oh, just a little place. Looks like a little lookout. You can see the ocean. Oh, it's so nice. Oh, how fun. Do some camping. Do some glamping. How fun. Reef Marine Sanctuary. Oh, wow. Oh, my goodness. Oh. It's all just all so overwhelmingly beautiful. Look at this. We love to see it. This place is, there's some good mangroves there, little baby mangroves growing in the water. How fun. What's down here? Sandbar. Ooh, World War II shipwreck. Let's see what we've got. Oh my goodness. All covered in coral and other life at this point. Making a little habitat out of what was once something very devastating. Let's look at this natural park. Bong Sung Natural Park. There's lots of mangroves as well. Out on their little boats. Those are kayaks, I'm pretty sure. That's a canoe. Wow. Oh, as you can see under the water here. That's a neat picture. Wow. Yeah, this rocks. I want to come here. Looks like it would be so fun. Let's hop over. Yeah, to Cantanduenes. See what we can find. I don't really remember finding much here, so maybe we can find something together. There's a waterfall. Sure. Wow, that's a pretty one. Oh, how fun. Hiking down to the falls. Oof. I bet you that's cold, but it's probably very hot and humid, so I bet it feels good. Wow. Awesome, awesome. So yeah, very forested as you can see. Lots of resorts. Lots of waterfalls. Let's look at this park. Seashore Park. Oh, very rocky. Yeah, there are like I said, so many slideshows here for us to explore. I would highly encourage, if you have a spare moment, if you're bored, to explore the Philippines yourself. Look how cute. What a sweetie. Oh my gosh, so sassy. Because yeah, you'll find all kinds of wonders. All kinds of beauty on our lovely planet. So much to see. There's another national park. Oh, wow. Wow, wow, wow. Oh, that water looks so nice. Yeah, this landscape is just something else, and it's really all thanks to the volcanoes and tectonic activity making everything so green, so rugged. Let's find one more slideshow. I can close this out. Twin Falls. That sounds fun. Oh, wow, beautiful. Oh, yeah, look. And two waterfalls for the price of one. Let's look. Oh, we didn't look at Mount Asog. We'll end it here. So thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this style of content, please consider subscribing. Next in my series, we're going to be heading back to Angola. I need to do a bit more Google Earth digging because I didn't really find a lot of slideshows there. So that means we might be having a little soundscape. I'm pretty sure I'm going to dig out Topple the elephant for that. So be sure to subscribe so you won't miss out. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up drop me a comment down below. I'd really appreciate it. I just opened something. I don't know what I did. I'm not reporting the photo. This photo is beautiful. Ooh. Looks like cotton. I wonder what that is. I do hope that you found this video to be relaxing and educational. And I hope that you have a good night. Good night.